If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHBR TV 33. See you soon. And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned to WHPR TV 33. And you're officially back into the conversation a few minutes after 8 o'clock. You're still tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. And our Friday guest is the Honorable Son of Man in the New Nation of Islam. And so he's staying with us a little more. He's giving us a little more time because you know what? We got into a conversation. And for those of you who are just tuning in at this hour, this is our Freestyle Friday. But, I can take the liberty of continuing the conversation. I can do that. So I'm going to do that because right before the break, we were really getting into some truths of things. And I just want to thank all callers. I see you all. But Brother Jihad called in, and thank you so much for the willingness to have a real conversation. Because, see, a lot of times we don't want confrontation because there are truths that have to come out of that. And so when Brother Jihad called in and he made some issues, he made some statements, he discussed the comparatives, which most people do. I know you all do because you all tell me off the air. You compare what the Son of Man in the New Nation of Islam is doing versus what you believe, where if you're a Baptist, Protestant, Catholic, whatever that Methodist, whatever it looks like, and or if you're a part of the Nation of Islam, you compare the work, you compare the message, and you compare the messenger. Those were truths that he presented, and which so many people think, but they don't want to have that dialogue. So we were able to talk before the break about that, the work that Brother Jihad is doing on behalf of the nation, the work that Son of Man stated what he has done and is doing. And I think that we were able to move beyond that because I thought that the ultimate, what we agreed, was the pursuit of righteousness. And a lot of times we use words, and words sound great, but we don't really understand what righteousness is. And I think that Brother Jihad made a very strong statement, which Son of Man has always said, and we all agree that the majority of us weren't born into our space. And meaning, majority of us, black folks here, weren't born into Islam. We were born into everything else. So we were born into either Baptist, Pentecostal, and all those things, which the foundation was the Bible. So we didn't have interaction with the Quran. And that just didn't happen until we state that we come into an enlightenment, a knowingment. And then we say, okay, those of us who understand and identify with being Muslim, then that is where we are and what it looks like for us. So that's where we left off in that previous segment. And we were about to have the conversation that if we are all actively seeking righteousness, then what's really good is what I'm asking. Do we ever really understand what righteousness is? Because we were talking during the break, and sometimes the best conversations happen during the break, is that I believe that that's what we say, but we don't understand what it is. And I believe that we take all the indoctrination from all those different areas, however we were brought up, the religions that we were brought up in, and so we still have those at our core. So then when we come into this type of conversation, we really don't know. We don't know how to even believe that there is a man on earth who is saying that he is the Son of Man. Because that little thing that's back in this head has told you from the time you were born, brought up, that, oh no, he's going to come back again. That's what we're taught. He's going to come back. So you think that this whole world's going to end and he's going to come back from the sky and that it can't be a man. And so you're trying to rectify what this looks like from what you were taught to what you've now being presented. And so I don't understand if there's really a challenge for us in the truths and understanding that truth. that we're still basing it on how we were indoctrinated into religion. So if we're all just still seeking to be righteous, then we're supposed to be able to have the conversations to get to the heart of what that really means, how we're supposed to interact with each other, the truth of what we believe. In the first hour segment, we talked about faith. The truth is, you can't have faith and then worry. So the man said it. I gave a comment. He said, yeah, you can't have faith and then don't expect that things are going to work out or what it's going to be, because that means you don't have faith. He gave the analogy of the plane. It's true. No one ever questions it when you go up to the plane or when you're driving through the bus or if you get a train ticket that you're not going to get to your destination. You don't even think about not getting to your destination. You just believe that that's that mode of transportation that you're going to take. And so if indeed that is where we are in our spirituality, which is our most important part of self in this human form, which is much more critical than anything, any stuff, then where do we go now? Where do we go, really? Because I believe that we're just really at a crossroads. And so I thank you for allowing me to give this kind of summation to create life for those of you all who are just tuning in. So if I can, before the break, I'm going to bring Brother Jihad on. I'm going to let Son of Man, please. Thank you for staying. I want you to give some additional comments to Brother Jihad's statements, and then I want us to continue the conversation, if that's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now, he made, when I question, like I said, I'm a judge. I am the judge.
Okay.
And I have to have a good memory. He made the statement when I asked him the question, when he was talking about how many places invite Minister Farrakhan to speak.
Okay.
And I asked him a question, well, how many, since he don't see people inviting me to go and speak to their colleges and at their universities.
Okay.
And churches. I asked him how many people, how many times was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad invited anywhere to speak?
Okay.
And he said that he has ministers. He didn't need to go over. He knocked down his own argument.
Okay.
Since the messenger didn't go and speak because they didn't want him over there speaking. They don't even mention the Honorable Elijah Muhammad during Black History Month. The only one mentioning him is and really show you the truth of what the messenger taught was me. I'm the only one who's actually teaching and showing people the truth about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
Now, he and I have it in common that the world didn't want to hear him, and they don't want to hear me.
Okay.
But now, if the argument that he presented was worth anything, then why are they inviting Minister Farrakhan instead of Minister Farrakhan's ministers? Why isn't he sending his ministers over there?
Okay.
Because, when you get these fellas to talking, they just say a lot of things that have no basis. Just like trying to condemn me for disagreeing with Minister Farrakhan. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't refuse to talk to people who disagreed with him. And I'm talking about just plain, everyday people.
Okay.
I want you to I'm going to play a little clip here, and then I'm going to let you answer me.
Okay.
We have with us also a rebel, or I don't know, he could be just a missionary. But he thinks that I'm in error, and what is that? In many of my statements. My brother, come on out and tell me some of them.
Greetings in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ's name. I want to say this, first of all, that it was mentioned about Abraham. This is true.
Now, I only played that to show you that that's what I do.
Okay.
When people disagree with me, I give them the courtesy and respect of having a brain. And since I'm trying to convert them to my way of thinking, that's what leaders do.
Okay.
Leaders don't look for people who agree with them. He looks for people who he can potentially lead into agreement with him.
Okay.
But he knows that, you can't force nothing on people. You have to be willing to conversate with people.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. That's what Jesus did. That's what all of the prophets did. They talked to people who disagreed with them and converted them.
Okay.
Then you want to come in here with your mistaken loyalties. You want me to worship flesh, and you want me to worship self. I'm not trying to get people to follow me based on what they can get. I'm trying to get people to follow me based on wanting to be righteous and wanting to serve the author of righteousness, like I do.
Okay.
If you don't want that, I don't want you.
Okay. Brother Jihad.
You ain't got to worry about that. That's why, you got so many people mad at me. Because I'm not trying to deceive you and just pick your pocket.
Okay.
I'm trying to find people who really hunger and thirst for righteousness so I can fill them up.
All right.
Those of you who not interested in righteousness is the Word of God.
Okay.
If you're not interested in the Word of God, just agitate the gravel, man. You ain't got to be around here with me, listening to me, or whatever.
Okay. Well, this is what we're going to do, Brother Jihad. I'm going to give you a minute to give your last statement. If you would, I'm going to get the other caller in because my other guest is in the building. So we have to wrap this segment up by the half. So please, Brother Jihad.
Yes, ma'am. The problem is, like I said, he doesn't anger me because I'm pretty solid on what I believe.
Okay.
And it's the thing about I this, I that, I. And I have a problem with that, Queen.
Okay.
But understand, far as the work and everything, understand, when I think about Minister Farrakhan and the reason why I followed Minister Farrakhan, because Minister Farrakhan, understand, when he stood up in 77, he stood up, understand, with two individuals, Brother Jabril Muhammad and another brother.
Okay.
And he went forth working underground, starting study groups all across the country.
Okay.
In 1981, he made a bold stand when he stood up, understand, 1981, before the world. And he announced to the world, and he hasn't backed off from that, he announced that his teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Lamb of the Scripture, is physically still alive.
Okay.
He also, in 1985, he went, understand, to Washington, D.C., before the world and before the government of the United States, and announced to the government about those UFOs, or what they call unidentified flying objects, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had been teaching on since the 1930s.
Okay.
In
Brother Jihad, hold on one second. And Brother Jihad, hold on one second.
1 million people with him, Queen.
Wait, Brother Jihad, hold on one second.
I was there.
So hold on one second. And I don't ever want you to feel that you have to justify what you believe, and who you believe. You don't have to do that. Not with me. Not on this show. You don't have to do that.
And
what you believe is what you believe. Not absurd. Not a problem. And I appreciate the transparency that you've come in here with to have the questions and the conversation with the Son of Man. And it is not a problem. And I hope that at the end, as we wrap up this conversation so I can get to the next caller, is that we all believe that if we are searching. And so if we're all searching, we believe in God and we are searching.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I hope that we can continue to have those conversations, because in this physical form, that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep searching because life consistently happens for us. Things consistently happen, I believe, that trigger either what we were indoctrinated with, what's really presented to us, what we believe we need to do to get to where we're trying to go. It's a process. So, Brother Jihad, thank you so much. And Son of Man,
I
thank
thank
you
you,
for the
Queen, and I'll
conversation
say
with
again,
him. Sure.
I love you, Queen. Understand? Even
Absolutely.
though he may not think so, I love you, sister.
No,
Have a blessed weekend.
I think so. That's not a problem for me, Brother Jihad. Thank you so much.
Have a blessed weekend.
You too, as well. And Son of Man, hold on, let's go to the next line if we can, because we have another caller that's been so patiently waiting. Good morning, and thank you for your patience. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Okay. What would you like to share this morning?
I've just been listening to the dissent between the two. I really don't like to comment on people's religion because everybody has a right to believe whatever they feel is affordable for them. But Collette.
Yes, say it. Come on, say it. It's right there. Say it.
The Son of Man, to me, first of all, he makes a lot of mistakes. He says a lot of untrue things as far as that Bible goes. And most of these religions take a part of the Bible that they want to believe in and build up their faith on this.
Okay.
But as I said before, the Son of Man seems to me very narcissistic, arrogant person, and God didn't bring anybody into His mission with that type of arrogance. I mean, humility. Jesus came with humility, and He was the Son of God. Okay. I don't like to argue religion. I really don't.
Okay.
But
I have a question.
I just wanted to make that statement.
Oh, sure. And let me ask you. Hold on one second, because
the Son of Man.
Okay.
That you keep.
I have a question for you.
Hold on 1 second. The Son of Man has a question, and I want to make a comment on what you just stated. Please, thank you for calling. And everyone, do you realize we're talking about, I believe, two separate things? We're talking about religion. Religion is one aspect, and the conversation of who we're following and what we believe, I believe, is a separate conversation. So that I'm hearing a couple of different things. We're talking about religion. So are we discussing the doctrine? Are we discussing what's in the Bible or what's in the Quran? I believe that that's one thing. And then we're talking about, I believe, who it is that we say we're following, who it is that we say we're with, and why we're with that person or we're not with that person. Son of Man, did you want to ask the caller a question or make a statement?
Yes, I want to ask her.
Okay.
You say Jesus was humble. Yes, he was humble. It's just like you sit and you made a judgment of me of not being humble. But yet I listen to people criticize me. And what do you want me to do? Just sit and listen to you criticize me and not talk back? And yet Jesus, he talked back and said things to people that they didn't like. For instance, he would talk to the Pharisees, and he told them, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees," and he called them hypocrites. He said, "For you shut up the kingdom of heaven unto men. You don't enter yourself, and you don't allow others who trying to enter to do so." And if Jesus was so humble and never had a cross word for nobody, why was they saying, "Let him be crucified"?
Okay. Caller, did you have a comment, or we just want to wrap it up?
I sure do.
Okay.
Because he can't even, how can he even try to make any comparison between him and Jesus?
You
Stay
you
on the
did.
line, Collette. I
Okay.
was getting ready to say before you.
You the one made
Wait,
the
son
comparison.
of man, wait a minute. Let her finish your thought. Wait a minute.
If you stay on the line and go down on this station a little while, you'll run into Prophet Grace or somebody.
Okay.
And I'm sure that he can make an argument for whatever he believes in.
Okay.
So the only thing I'm saying is the whole thing sounds like a bunch of nonsense. As you can very well tell, Collette, I'm not a young person anymore,
Okay.
so things don't come to me like they did when I was in my youth.
Yes, ma'am.
But if I was in my youth, I would be able to handle the Son of Man. I can't anymore because words don't come to me like they used to.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's like I said, I don't argue religion. Everybody is entitled to believe whatever they want to believe.
Yes. Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
let me give you some advice. Let me give you some advice, and I would give this advice to everybody, whether
Okay.
you young or old. If you are not prepared to make arguments, then stop making judgments. You know that's a common sense thing. If you make an accusation or a judgment about somebody, then if you're not ready to argue and explain why you made that judgment to that person, then you need to not say anything.
Caller.
Well,
Th-
he need not say a lot of things that he does say.
Okay.
But because I am an older person and have been through this life,
Okay.
I can see a lot of things that maybe younger people can't see. And I'm entitled, just like I said, people are entitled to their own beliefs. I'm
Yes.
entitled to mine.
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
because I have age on me, don't
I'm
mean
not.
that
I'm
I
not
can
trying to
express
stop.
Absolutely.
what I believe.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
a moment. Just a moment. You know, I'm like any. You know, that Jesus, he compared men of God to physicians. Now, a physician, he may not tell you what you want to hear, but it's wrong for him to stand up and lie to you, no matter what your age is. Now, I don't know how old you are, but I know I'm 3 years away from 70 years old myself. So I'm not a baby. And I've been around a while too. And I know better than to charge people with anything that I'm not prepared to offer proof of my charges. And if I was not going to, if I tell you you are this or you are that, and you confront me about it, and I wouldn't tell you that I don't want to talk about it. If I didn't want to talk about it, I'd never brought it up.
Well,
And if you was not prepared to present arguments to prove that what you said about me was true, you should never have said anything about me.
Well, Son of Man, I respect.
See, you can't even get it out.
What was the young man before that?
Brother Jihad.
Yes.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
respect Brother Jihad because a lot of things he has said I can respect.
Okay.
I respected Malcolm X. Even though I'm not of the Islam or Muslim faith, I can respect a lot of things that they say.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait, son of man. Wait a minute. She needs to finish her thought.
But
Wait a minute.
I need to point out something while she's on here. Remember now, Malcolm X turned against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
In my opinion, rightfully so.
See?
In my
Now, that's
opinion.
why you really don't like me, because you didn't like him. Now, I know what the problem is.
Well, I don't believe she said that, but I'm not trying to put
Exactly
words
what
in her
she
mouth.
said.
I'm not trying to put words in her mouth. So this is what I want us to do. because my guest is in the building. I want the young lady that called in to complete her thought. I know Son of Man is going to continue his conversation tonight, so I want to give you a minute to wrap that up. So please.
Well, thank you, Collette.
You see how I'm able to make people finally
for giving me the time just to say what I believe. Right?
Yes.
Like I said, I listen to you, and I think you are a very intelligent person. And, just continue to investigate into some things and draw your own opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a son. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I had a son that, unfortunately, at one time when he was younger, which he has turned his life around now, has his own business and is doing well. But at one time, he was in prison.
Okay.
And when he was in prison, he adopted the Muslim or Islam faith, whatever.
Okay.
He wasn't raised that way, but that's what he decided that he wanted to do when he was incarcerated.
Yes.
I learned a lot from him, from a lot of the things that he, came out talking.
Okay.
But I gave him the right to believe whatever he wanted to believe, if that's what he wanted to believe.
Right.
But I could also see a lot of things that while he was incarcerated, that he believed in, that it's just not true.
Okay. Thank you so much for your call. Thank you.
Right,
thank you so much. Everyone, this is what we're going to do. Because I got to take a break. So, Son of Man, if you can, I want you to have a chance to do your wrap-up statement. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to bring my guest on set. We're going to come back. We're going to do a summation with Son of Man. So don't you all go anywhere. All right? We're going to continue the conversation. So we'll be right back. Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me. Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. There's a lot of stuff happening. We're having a lot of conversation. We're having great conversation. I just want to thank everyone who has been calling in, and I see the calls are still lit now, so that's a really good thing. Because I know it takes a lot to call in, A. B, when you do call in, to be able to tell your truth, whatever that is, and to hope that it is received just as you stated. So thank you, because I know that's not an easy task, and I know that if we're all searching and seeking, we will listen and we will be open to the real conversation to get to what the real issue is. We always talk about symptoms versus issues. So my takeaway still today is that we are searching for the truth. We're searching for the righteousness. We're searching for a spiritual connection with God through the Word. That's what I believe. Whether it is through the Bible or the Quran, that is what we, in essence, believe. And then it seems like we have these problems with who's the messenger. And we can get through that. Because to me, that's simple. I think that's really simple for us to get through. So I'm going to allow Son of Man to please give a summation. And, of course, I know that he has a lesson on tonight. So we want to make sure that we are aware of that so we can tune in. So please, Son of Man. Son of Man? Oh, no. Son of Man, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I am now.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Please, I'd like to give you a chance to give the summation and then introduce us into the conversation for tonight.
Okay, well, actually, my conversation, most of you all already know what it is. A lot of people, they try to suggest that the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran somehow are different, but that's not true.
Okay.
The Holy Quran is just a reminder of what's in the Bible.
Okay.
Anybody who really read it and understand it, they would know that, every story that's in the Bible, the Holy Quran puts a little reminder of that story.
Okay.
So it's not anyone who's been practicing what's in the Holy Bible, whether they knew it or not, if they really practice what's in there, that's Islam.
Okay.
That's not Christianity. There's no Christian scripture.
All right.
So the Caucasian, he's the one who made up all these false religions like he told God he would do, and that's what his maker made him for, to lay in wait in the straight path and cause people to deviate.
Okay.
All of the religions that you have, you notice all of them have one thing in common. They're always ready to murder somebody.
All right. Okay.
Except the one I'm teaching.
All right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in front of the whole world, he disarmed every follower that claimed to be his followers. He told them, you put them weapons down. He said, go pick up weapons and let's get ready to go fight. He forbade us to pick up weapons.
Okay.
And there, right there, that shows you what kind of religion he was teaching.
Okay.
So I want to say to the, a lot of times people, I don't use my age as a shield to hide behind. You notice when a young man come in here, sometimes I'll remind them, now look, I'm old enough to be your daddy, man. Don't be coming here talking like you some equal of mine.
Okay.
But I don't try to use my age to justify my inadequacy of knowledge. If you old enough or if you bold enough to attack what a person says or believes in, especially when that person really believes in it. If you wasn't ready to defend your attack, if you wasn't ready to defend what you said, you should have kept your mouth shut.
You know what, Son of Man, if you just hold on for a second, because I got Brother 6'4". He's in the building. I want to go ahead and just bring you into the conversation because our time is ticking down, and something is on me to just bring you in, if that's okay, so we can just continue having this dialogue, because all the lines are still lit. So, Son of Man, do you have some more time to continue this conversation?
I told you, I make time.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do, because I want us to be fair in our conversation, and I don't believe that is fair to the young lady who called in, because she said that I don't know what her, and again, she was not making the statement towards me, so I can understand if you took exception to her saying that she believes you're a narcissist and selfish and
well, first of all, what is narcissism? I mean, if the shoe fits, then wear it. I know what narcissism is. Self-absorbed people and whatnot, selfish, uncaring about others, or whatnot. I mean, that roll off me like water off a duck's back.
Okay, so when you said then that she should be prepared to have the conversation, and she
I heard her say something that told me exactly where she was at, and then she bore witness to it. I said that, so you know Malcolm, he turned against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Sure.
And she said that was justifiably right.
Yes.
And that told me all I need to know about her. You befriending people who turned on God's messenger. No wonder you don't like me. Because I did not turn on God's messenger. And I never will turn on God's messenger.
Okay, so let me ask you, I got my guest in the studio today.
Lying on God's messenger.
Okay, so I have my guest in the studio today, 6'4". Did you want to comment? You wanted to chime in?
I think it's disingenuous when people say that Malcolm turned on
I
the
can't
Nation
hear
of
you. I
Islam.
can't hear him.
Can you hear me? Am I up? Am I?
Okay.
Okay, I think it's disingenuous when people just say, well, he turned on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Based on what the average person who knows anything about Malcolm X, they're going to say, based on what we have gathered,
Okay.
anybody would have done that. The
Okay.
man, apparently, the way it was put to us, that Elijah Muhammad kept things from him. He discovered things that wasn't told to him. And Malcolm X's decision, he decided to no longer follow this particular guy, which anybody would do in any situation like that when you are upset at your leadership.
Okay,
or,
wait a minute, Solomon. I'm gonna let you get
I think
in.
I think it's a natural humanistic reaction to say, well, I'm stop messing with you for a minute.
Okay.
You know, because I found this out to be not true. I thought by you withholding this from me, that wasn't genuine. And because of what the movies had, see, a lot of people are going by what the movies said about his relationship with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And based on that, a lot of people have drawn their conclusion, and if there's any truth to that, whether it's in the movie or not, the fact that there was some truth to the betrayal does not sit well with black people, just like it doesn't sit well with black people that they think the nation has something to do with his death. Now, how would you defend that? One, you say Malcolm X was a traitor to the nation, but then we say, well, if the nation killed them, then the nation is a traitor to Malcolm. So where is their love and understanding? If all he did was leave them, then what was in them to kill him?
So stay right there.
Yeah,
So the man, you
I
had a
just
comment?
think
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told all of those to leave Malcolm alone. Now, if someone did something to Malcolm, it wasn't by Honorable Muhammad. Now, as far as what Malcolm claimed, that he found out about the Honorable Elijah and his, well, Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, but I don't hear nobody claiming they don't believe in Proverbs. I know David.
But they knew about his. But see, his people knew about his wives. See, that's the whole difference. They bring Solomon up. Solomon, his people knew about all his wives. He didn't keep it a secret.
I got some things that you was out here saying about things. Yeah, I know. Didn't you used to be 6', or whatever what is?
His name is 6'4"?
No, my name is 6'4", 6 Mix. I come from music.
6 Mix. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, from his musical side? Yeah, that's your
that's
name.
my musical number, yes.
You ain't got no moral high ground to be coming in here calling yourself judging nobody.
Oh,
So
no.
You don't need to say nothing about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
He's referring to. I'm assuming my records in the past. I've never made no bones about my language and my spirit when I was making money in the industry and doing that. But we all came to the light.
Malcolm was a pimp, a dope dealer, and a hustler before he got with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
Then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad put him out there and made a famous man out of him.
Okay.
And then he turned on the one who made him famous.
Well,
and I don't consider that turning. See, I think I have a problem with if you're going to help me do all of this, and then I do something wrong that you don't like, and then you say I don't want to be bothered with you, then you get mad at me because I'm not silly enough to continue to follow what I don't like. To me, that's equivalent to what white folks do to us today. I don't care what I do to you. Look at where I put you, Kaepernick. I don't care about the injustice I done to you or the inconsistencies that you saw in my leadership. I made you famous. I made you this. I brought you here. So you want me to take all of that and put that to the side and say, you know what? Let me bend over again. Take one more hit at me. I think anybody that's a human being who is self-thinking would have done the same thing. And I don't look at it as Malcolm Trade. I never looked at it as Malcolm trading on the nation.
First of all, if I can, hold on 1 second, Senator. Let me just say this.
Yeah, I never looked at it like that.
Let me just say this. I am not in judgment of anyone. So let me say, so who your moniker was in the rap world, only you know that. You know what your motivation was behind what you said and what you did and what that was. It is not for me to say if you've gotten enlightenment and you changed your music or you separated your business dynamic or whatever the case may be. I still believe that you 6'4" have a voice and have a right and have an opinion to comment on things that are biblical, spiritual, scriptural to your belief. So let me just say that is what my belief is. As it pertains to Malcolm X, if Malcolm X, and I believe that's what we're all supposed to do, and callers are seeing, so we're going to get to you all, but I believe that that's what we're all supposed to do. If we have had whatever our past has been and has gotten a level of enlightenment, and then we do research that makes us better, and if we find out information on our own, which then challenges what we're taught, and I wasn't there during the time of Malcolm X. I can only go by the book that I read and the movie that I saw. But if I go by that, isn't that who we're supposed to be? I thought that we're supposed to study and learn more, and so if we learn something else and we question it, what's the problem?
Well,
let's let Son of Man comment.
There is no problem with questioning and whatnot. The problem is most people question and then they don't like the answer that they get.
Okay.
Now here, this man come in here and I still didn't get no answer from you, brother. What is it that you found fault or that Malcolm claimed to found fault in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? If it was about the messenger having more than one wife, well, first of all, in America, he couldn't go down there and get no papers on them like you do in this country because polygamy is not allowed in this country.
I think you missed the point. I don't care if he told Malcolm X he eat white crackers and Malcolm X looked in his closet and found wheat crackers. Here's my point. I don't care if he told Malcolm with his soup he had white crackers and then Malcolm found out he really eat with wheat crackers. The point is I was making the average person is just going by that simple.
Wait. Hold on.
You asked me. You asked me.
Everybody can't talk at one time, right? So you asked the question, Son of Man. Give me 1 second, please, and let him comment.
I'm answering your question.
I'm going to finish my point first.
Oh, you have a point first before he answers the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, well, make your point, brother. Make your point. Well, make your point, brother.
Now, if Malcolm had such a problem with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad having more than one wife, then how did he claim to believe in Prophet Muhammad?
Okay, so let me add this. Okay, so let me add this. But I don't think that's what you were saying.
No, that's not. See, that's because you don't listen like you think you listen. I said that the man had a problem, whether it's some type of betrayal. If he felt betrayed in any kind of way, then he was justified in moving on. I think what people fail to realize is how he moved on. I think that because that's what I was saying. I wasn't trying to bring no more enlightenment to that situation than what you had already shared. Based on what the sister had said, the young lady who had called, that is the most basic humanistic reaction that every black person who knows about their relationship has. That's all I'm saying. That's backing her up. Everyone believed that. Everyone said, well, if it's women, if it was milk, and no matter what it was something there that made the man say, I don't want to be with this outfit no more.
Well, let me just say, I just thought it was a simple fact that it was the belief that there weren't white Muslims.
That's what I wasn't even going with the women part. That's what I thought. He went to Mecca.
Was a journey to Mecca, right? And he saw that there were all people of different hues worshiping God. Then that was when he thought and started questioning his belief.
And the key that I'm saying is that what the average person know is what they seen on the movie.
Or read the book.
So what you're not talking to a person who's vet in that. You're talking to a person who's coming with what they've seen. And you have to treat them like that, I believe.
Okay, so Son of Man, now your comment?
First of all, Malcolm already had been to Mecca back in 59. And the messenger the one sent him over there. Malcolm knew about white people being Muslim. That wasn't his reason for leaving.
Okay.
Malcolm, now I agree with this brother on one point, that if Malcolm had any problem with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I don't care what it was, He had a right to leave.
Okay.
That's all I was saying.
I don't fault Malcolm for leaving.
Okay.
I fault Malcolm for going out there lying.
Okay. You know what?
That's what I fault him for.
Okay, let me get to a call because, man, we only got a few minutes left. Let me get to the line. Thanks for your patience. Good morning. Are you there, caller? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Good morning to you, Miss Collette.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
And to the Son of Man. First, I want to say is that Christianity and Islam was brought to us by our enslavers.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
And we embrace Christianity because of the enslavement era and the terrorism that came with it.
I believe that.
That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, while we are seeking, we haven't gone far enough back in history to really go to the scriptures of our ancestors. And we have access to that information. Now, I have listened to WHPR for many, many years, and I've heard the Son of Man.
Okay.
And from just today's display, this whole thing is ego-driven. And we have to be able to discern what it is we are being given.
Okay.
If we're about righteousness, ego, and all these other fetters that we have would not come into play.
Yeah.
And so if there is any good to come from this, then each and every one of us can put it to work. And so that is what I have to say.
Yes.
Peace and love.
Oh, thank you for the call. I mean, and she makes
Excellent
she hits
point.
the point.
She
So,
made an excellent
so where are
point.
we in ego? So
Yeah.
it's all of this are the conversations that we're having, because we still haven't gotten to the righteousness part. Are all the conversations that we're having and the discourse that we're having, is it just based on ego? Son
I
of man,
think so.
you think so?
I think so at the beginning of the day,
in the
because
first place.
it is.
In
I
the
mean,
first
what else
place.
is it based on? Because you can't lead without putting yourself up there to lead. You got to show people that, hey, I'm the one leading. That's why I like the idea of the Panthers and SNCC and all of them, the leaderless movements.
Okay.
The movements where everybody was doing something, but you couldn't say, well, that's because of this one guy. It was because of collective. A lot of the biggest movements that happened to black folks and happened for black folks were done collectively.
Okay.
The Black Panthers, that was a collective effort between black men and women
Okay.
who
No,
came
the Black
together,
Panthers
not
was
so
not
much
that.
of a,
No, sir.
I'm Elgin Cleaver,
No,
and
sir.
I'm the only Black Panther. No, when he went down, Bobby
No, the
Seals
Black
came
Panthers-
up. When Bobby
Okay.
went down, Huey came up.
No,
When
what
Huey
you
went
saying
down,
now is not
Andrew.
true.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry, Son of man.
Black Panthers was started by Huey Newton, brother. Huey
Well-
Newton, Elgin Cleaver and them, but Huey was the leader of the Black Panthers.
Yes.
So don't get out there and get that kind of misinformation. That was just,
I don't
there's
think.
no
See,
such thing.
again,
The only,
you didn't hear what I was
leaderless-
saying. You didn't
the
hear what I
only
was saying.
leaderless
That's all.
thing,
He didn't hear me.
locust.
He didn't hear me.
Okay, so
You start talking about the Black Panthers, brother. I remember when the Black Panthers started back in the 60s.
Okay.
And they were free in Watts. They was giving free breakfasts and stuff to children.
yes.
Yeah.
I remember when they stopped walking around without gun belts on, and they started wearing them gun belts.
Okay.
And Huey and them was reciting the Constitution and the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. And after they got infiltrated by the government, the FBI, under J. Edgar Hoover's thing, people talked them into starting using weapons and stuff. And next thing you know, they going around shooting some of them in the, shot that brother in the while he was sleeping.
Okay.
Fred
So,
Hampton.
right, so Son of Man, this is what I like to do because our time is up.
You know,
Everyone, I want to put up the information. You all can continue to tune in tonight with the Son of Man to continue the conversation. 6-4, I want to give you a minute to wrap up as well. But everyone, this has been the kind of conversations that we love having. I love having. I love facilitating this type of dialogue because if we are not open to be able to agree, to disagree, to be able to question, we'll never get to what our real truths and issues are. The last caller said it's about ego. All the other lines are lit. I believe that's a great point to stay on, and we can continue this conversation next week as far as I'm concerned because that's a perfect place to start. So everyone, please tune in tonight to the new Nation of Islam. We're going to put the information up on the screen at the conclusion. It's up right now. You can continue to hear the Son of Man tonight at 9 p.m. on WHPR and TV 33. Also, you can listen by phone, area code 712-770-4160. That's access code 869-571#. Thank you so much always for Son of Man for just being who you are and the time and the conversation that you give us. We appreciate it. Look forward to the conversation later on this evening. And so, Son of Man, I mean, we've had a wrap up, a great conversation time with him. 6-4, what else would you like to add as we wrap up?
I just tell people to look at the models of the past. A lot of times we want to build on something new. We don't need nothing new. If we just do what the Panthers did.
Okay.
You know, they to me, in my estimation, they were the epitome of collectiveness and moving unity.
Okay.
Moving as one, without a hint of any religion in there.
Okay.
No preachers, no shamans, no sheiks,
Okay.
just pure love for their community.
Okay.
And look what that love have produced for that community in Oakland and then in Chicago and different other places that adopted that.
Okay.
So that's what I like to look at. I like to look at how we were able to move when no one was telling us to move because we seen how we should move by watching each other.
All right.
Bobby Seals watched Eldridge Cleaver. Cleaver watched Angela Davis, who watched and they fed the children, they educated the children, and they did it. They did what we talking about now.
Yeah.
They actually did that thing.
You know what? And thank you so much for the point. Everyone, thank you for your time. I think all of this allows us to look at what our truths are. Are we trying to be black leaders or have leading blacks? We talked about it yesterday because black leaders are you and me. It's you, it's me, it's all of you who are tuned in right now that we can collectively agree that if we are seeking righteousness, how do we get there? And it is just not one of us saying it, this is what we have to do, but we can collectively agree and then we move versus leading blacks. Those are people that are identified to be able to tell us what to do or how best to fit into the system. I think those are the kind of conversations, 6-4, thank you, that we continuously need to have. And thank you, of course, to Son of Man again in the new Nation of Islam. And most importantly, thank you to each and every one of you who've given of your time and your talents and your conversation on this amazing Friday on the 13th of October. We couldn't be anywhere right now, but we're together. And we're going to continue to learn and grow and be better. And I just look forward to the conversations that we have, and I appreciate the truth that you give as we're all seeking to be better. So have an amazing rest of the day. Realize that your words are power, that you breathe life by what you say, and work to have a better understanding of who you really believe that you are and what makes you who you are, because that enhances our conversation. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. Look forward to our time next week, next Thursday. Be tuned in at 7 a.m. for more Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Thank you.